TomTom Festival was a smash success. We'll offer some perspective from the TomTom Festival today. Apex Plaza is opening in downtown Charlottesville. That is good news. An office building that is significant and massive. 187,000 square feet, cross-laminated timber, mixed-use building above a concrete parking garage, currently at 100 Garrett Street next to ACAC. This is a significant structure that is fantastic news for the downtown mall. We will highlight this building today on the Monday edition of this program. We'll also talk, and I'm curious of Judah's take on this, as we give him a heads up for the show, of Elon Musk and his purchase of, soon to purchase of Twitter. We'll offer my take, hear Judah's take on that, and really kind of dissect that from every angle today on the program. I also want to highlight on today's show, the UVA School of Data Science just announced that they're going to offer a PhD program. Facebook is opening a retail store, and some updates on UVA basketball transfers. All those topics and more on the I Love CVille show on a Monday. It's going to be a dynamite Monday for you guys today. Judah, I need about 10 seconds and we can rock and roll. Guys, good Monday afternoon. I'm Jerry Miller. Welcome to the I Love CVille show. Thank you kindly for joining us. We are live in Charlottesville, across the Commonwealth, the country, and the world on the I Love CVille network on a Monday afternoon, a spring Monday afternoon, where things are certainly vibrant and dynamic in downtown Charlottesville. A lot we're going to cover on today's program. UVA basketball updates, transfers. It's a team that's looking to be very, 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 very deep. A team that brings back as much talent as any college basketball team in the country. North Carolina, the UNC Tar Heels, made it to the NCAA championship game. You can make an argument that UNC returns the most firepower of any college basketball team in the NCAA. You can make a legitimate argument that the University of Virginia, with some of the transfers that have entered in the mix, has the top 5 most talent returning of any program in the NCAA. This coming basketball season for Tony Bennett is proving to be a very, very, very high expectation season. We'll talk about that today in the program. We will highlight on the show Apex Plaza opening next to ACAC. This building is beautiful, it's gorgeous, it's going to be a tremendously positive driver for business on the downtown mall and around the downtown mall. The era of office space in Charlottesville is strong and backed by momentum. We'll highlight that with a state-of-the-art building next to ACAC that has big-time potential. We'll also discuss today the UVA School of Data Science offering a PhD program. This news broke late last week. We'll highlight it today. They're going to launch a doctoral program for data science. This school is literally the best in the country. On Ivy Road soon to be. And its impact and influence in Charlottesville and Albemarle County should not be understated. I've tried to highlight that on the program as much as possible. We'll also highlight Facebook opening a retail store, its first one, and the impact of Elon Musk buying Twitter. Elon Musk negotiating with the Twitter board this morning to buy a much maligned social media company and platform in Twitter. We'll highlight this and the impact of Musk purchasing this platform on what it could have on the world. I'm very curious of Judah Wickhauer's take on this. Judah, we have a two-shot ready to rock and roll. Yeah. If we could head to the two-shot, say good afternoon to you. We'll get to the first topic shortly, but before we do, your weekend, you said you watched a fantastic movie this weekend.
Yeah. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Highly recommend it.
Darn good.
Very enjoyable movie.
Give us the cliff notes without any spoilers.
There were some parts for people who may have dipped a little too heavily into the psychedelic drug department.
What are we talking? Boomers? Mushrooms?
Yeah, some people might wanna I don't know, skip the movie if they've if they're prone to having flashbacks. It was a pretty crazy movie, but for everyone else, go and enjoy it. Very good movie.
What theater did you watch it in?
I saw it at Regal.
Which one's Regal?
The one in Stonefield.
Oh, that one's good. Of the three theaters, Stonefield, Fifth Street Station, which is Alamo, right?
Yep.
And the one on the downtown mall, which is...
Violet Crown.
Violet Crown. This man's a movie buff, Judah Wickhauer. Which is your favorite theater and why?
I think Alamo. I mean,
Alamo's my favorite too.
You can't. It's hard to beat being able to order a beer or a burger or a pizza from the comfort of your own seat without having to get up and miss part of the movie.
But Violet Crown has that. Is it just it doesn't have table service to the seat? Is that what it is?
I haven't been to Violet Crown in a while, but yeah, last time I was there, you pretty much had to go up to the counter, place your order, and I don't think they even bring it to you. I think
no, you have to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's a huge.
If you're ordering
perk.
a pizza, you got to get there, like 10 or 15 minutes before the show starts. Make sure you get your order in. Make sure you get your pizza, hopefully before the movie starts, so that you can take it in there. And same thing with Regal. Regal's got some expanded, food, and you can get wine there now. At least you could the last time I remember going up to the counter. I'm assuming you can also get beer. I doubt they have a very big selection, but so you can drink at any of the theaters nowadays. It's just a matter of, do you have to get up, go out to the lobby to get it, or do you just sit down and
comes to you?
Order?
Good take.
The problem is at Alamo they don't always check on you very often. So you might get one beer and then you're like hoping to get a second one. You're like, where's my guy? And by the time they come and grab your card with your drink order, there's like 10 minutes left in the movie, and you're like, really? Thanks.
Judah Wickhauer is our director. I like that. Man loves movies. We'll see if we can work some movies into the show. I want to go back to the one shot, but before we do, I cannot wait to hear your take later in the program on Elon Musk buying the much maligned Twitter platform and the impact that could have on America or the globe as we know it today. That platform has seen considerably better days, and when the world's wealthiest man comes in with a very aggressive game plan to purchase a company, he seems to get what he wants, and could happen as early as today. We'll talk about that with Judah Wickhauer shortly, but before we do, let's go back to the one, and I want to highlight some things I saw this weekend that resonated with me. My family and I, we visited the Tom Tom Festival on Saturday, We arrived on the downtown mall at about 12:45 with my mother-in-law and my father-in-law, my wife, and our 4-year-old son. And we had an absolute blast. Paul Beyer and the Tom Tom Festival, fantastic all-around job. One of the key elements of the Tom Tom Festival this year was the festival taking place almost exclusively on the downtown mall. In years past, the epicenter for the festival was Market Street Park, Emancipation Park, the park formerly known as Lee Park. This time, you got there on Saturday, you got there on Friday, you got there on Sunday, and you were able to utilize the mall almost in totality. We entered on 4th Street. 4th Street is the crossing street on the downtown mall where Red Pump Kitchen is, now Vita Nova Pizza is. And when we entered, we immediately went to a gate, and at this gate was a Tom Tom attendant, and the Tom Tom attendant checked our IDs and then gave us a free wristband. And that free wristband allowed myself and my family to walk up and down the downtown mall with adult beverage in our hand, and it was fantastic. The restaurants had bars on their patios, and by bars I mean point of sale for a margarita, a glass of wine, some sangria, some cold beer. The alcoholic beverages were priced at $10 a pop, so reasonable. $15 for something pretty heady, like a fantastic margarita from Zocalo. My drink was poured, in fact, by Ivan Rekash, the owner of Zocalo Restaurant. Chatted with him for a hot second, and he said the designated outdoor refreshment area, the Dora, has proven to be quite successful. He said when he told me on Saturday, just after lunchtime, that the day before, Friday, he had sold over 200 margaritas and was expected to do even more business on Saturday that day. So I caught up with some of the other restaurateurs, Rapture, Sal's, Fitzroy, Rockfish, Whiskey Jar, the Bebedero. River Hawkins at the Bebedero, in fact, was wearing what appeared to be a Rey Mysterio mask. You know the name Rey Mysterio, Judah Wickower? Yeah. If we go to the 2-shot real quick, Rey Mysterio was a wrestler. Was it the Luchadores? I believe he was a part of the Luchadores, Rey Mysterio, and the wrestler. Is that right?
I mean, I've seen him on whatever they're calling it now, WWE or whatever. So I don't know. Are you talking about like?
He's a wrestler from a wrestling group.
Yeah, he's a wrestler
from a wrestling group. Anyway, they indicated that it was incredibly positive driver of business for the community. On Saturday, the drum circle that is normally at the farmers market. The farmers market, you see 12, 15, 20. Drummers are what? Percussionists? Drummers playing drums in a circle. On this past Saturday, was right in the heart of the downtown mall across from Zocalo. So my father-in-law, he got a margarita, I got a Minute Man, my favorite beer from Three Notch. Then we watched 15 to 20 people playing drums in a circle with what was a palpable and tangible energy level on the downtown mall. The designated outdoor refreshment area was utilized. Thank you, Patty Zeller. I love you, Patty Zeller of Animal Connection. Rey Mysterio is a popular WWE on Friday Night Wrestler. His son is also his tag team partner. I believe they previously were of the Luchadores. Their fame, their group, high flyers off the top rope, right, Patty Zeller? The Luchadores, I think is what they were called. I'll get back to Tom Tom. The designated outdoor refreshment area, the permit for the ABC event was associated with Tom Tom. So this was the pop, the proof of performance. From everything I've heard, this proof of performance was wildly successful. So I'm curious now how community stakeholders will respond to try to capitalize on the positive momentum that was this first iteration of the designated outdoor refreshment area. My expectation is the following. A nonprofit, perhaps it's Friends of Seaville. Friends of Seaville, we've highlighted them on this program. I encourage anyone to go to friendsofseaville.org to look at the heavy hitters, a part of that nonprofit. Friendsofseaville.org, will they be the nonprofit that leads the charge for securing ABC permitting for more future designated outdoor refreshment areas? Friends of Seaville rallied $40,000 to wrap the Dewberry Hotel in artwork. The stakeholders that are a part of Friends of Seaville are the folks that will benefit landlords and businesses if a designated outdoor refreshment area comes to fruition. TomTom's event, Paul Beyer, the founder of TomTom, was done seamlessly, successfully, and very efficiently. That obvious positive driver of incremental tax revenue should, we hope, be scaled by other nonprofits for the benefit of our community. Time will tell on that. Regardless, Paul Beyer and TomTom, job well done. Restaurateurs and merchants on the downtown mall, job well done. Just an A-plus event over the weekend that showed Charlottesville. Charlottesville's best. Michelle Juanita Tanner, I had a great time. Patty Zeller confirms Rey Mysterio, part of the Luchadores. Patty Zeller, you're A-plus people. Her show, What's Barking Local, airs Thursdays at 3 o'clock on the I Love Seaville network. Her business, Animal Connection in Iggs Park, one of the best in her category of business in the country. And that's backed by media and third-party, independent party, judgers and magazines. Kevin Higgins has this question. What is going on with Draft Tap Room downtown? It's been closed for over 2 years. It seems like construction is going on. What's the deal? Ownership has not changed. A very good question, Kevin Higgins, the king of Greenwood. I've asked myself what is going on, and on this show what's going on with Draft Tap Room. If you think about a business that is COVID positioned correctly, a self-serve tap room embodies those qualities. You go to a machine, you put your glass under it, and beer pours in the cup, and you don't need servers or third parties to bring you beverages. Very COVID positioned strategically. I know that Draft Tap Room is backed by some heavy hitter money. I would love to see that business reopen, perhaps even more focused on a sports niche. Draft had a lot of TVs for viewing sports. Would love to see that return to opening sooner than later. Another business or another building that just opened is Apex Plaza. This building is located next to ACAC. It's the tallest mass timber building on the East Coast, the Apex Plaza building, the tallest mass timber building on the East Coast. This building is open. Apex can house its employees in this building. It's going to be at bare minimum an additional 150 plus people working daily in the building. They will trickle over to the restaurants, the retailers, the breweries, and the merchants between or all along the ACAC spot where it's located in the parking lot. So this is positive news for Iggs Park. This is positive news for the downtown mall. The folks working these jobs paid well. The building is pre-leased in many different ways. The return to work momentum is obvious, and it's tangible, and it's happening around Charlottesville and its downtown mall. You walk downtown, you see people all over the mall. You check the mall around lunchtime and you see the tables full. Parking garages picking up with cars and spaces. This return to work movement or momentum is happening. Now, one trend I'm seeing, and Patty Zeller of Animal Connection has highlighted this, is employers still looking to hire more employees. Animal Connection, for example, is hiring right now. The clients on our roster, VMV Brands, our advertising agency, the majority of our clients have one thing in common, and that's looking for talent within their team. I am still left scratching my head, wondering why there's the extent of vacancies that we have over various sectors of business. How are people paying their bills now? If they're not working, where is the revenue coming to pay bills? Many employers having to offer signing bonuses before the first day of work, and then a signing bonus after X amount of days on the job. The competition is fierce. Kevin Yancey, watching the program in Waynesboro, he says the ABC should be completely revised. I could not agree with you more on that. The biggest monopoly in Charlottesville is not Dominion Power. The biggest monopoly in Virginia, the biggest monopoly in Virginia is not Dominion Power, it's the ABC. A monopoly of antiquated proportions. Apex Plaza now open next to ACAC. I miss the days of seeing the Willow Tree Army and their branded hoodies all over the downtown mall. I miss the days of walking on the mall around lunchtime and seeing every seat at the cafes on the mall full with team members on a 1-hour lunch break. And over the last 30 or 60 days, as COVID has gotten behind us, I'm seeing those butts and seats at the cafes. And it makes me happy and pleased for the restaurant owners. And I know the restaurant owners on the mall have had big time success with Tom Tom in this designated outdoor refreshment area. I texted with David, who owns Skooma Boutique Dispensary, one of the partners of this show. Skooma Boutique Dispensary, a location on the downtown mall next to Rapture. And they just opened a second location on Ellwood Avenue to capture the UVA crowd. And he said his downtown spot was hopping with people all weekend long in Skooma Boutique Dispensary. Erin King, welcome to the program. Western Albemarle's finest graduate, the Queen of Scottsville. We love when she watches the show and she makes the program better. Next topic on today's show. I've tried to highlight this impact for a year plus. More momentum now with the University of Virginia School of Data Science. This story was released on Friday afternoon. The School of Data Science at the University of Virginia has begun accepting applications for its new PhD program, following the degree's recent approval by the State Council of Higher Education for Virginia. With an emphasis on rigorous data science research, the program will prepare graduates to work at the forefront of a new and rapidly growing field. Established in 2019 as the first of its kind in the country, the School of Data Science already offers master's degrees in person and online, as well as a data science minor and of professional education courses. First of its kind in the country, guys. So Ivy Road is going to be the new location for it. Friday, it was announced that PhD programs will be a part of it. They already got master's programs with it. They're making the curriculum incredibly robust. This school is a field that is booming in business. Everyone needs to understand the data science behind their digital brands, and that's what this offers. The impact should be one of new jobs. The impact should be one of more students in the mix in Charlottesville, smart students, more staff to service and help with those students, businesses opening up satellite offices or East Coast headquarters to cherry pick or poach the talent that graduates from the data science school, an influx of out-of-market employees coming to open those offices, students who stay for undergraduate or PhD work, staying after school is over to continue this field of business in the private sector. This will drive up certainly cost of living and housing prices, and will also fortify the local economy with spending dollars. I had the conversation yesterday with my dad about Charlottesville and the area being insulated to national trends. Not completely protected, but insulated. A program at a school like this helps insulate the community and the local marketplace from national trends. The first PhD program of data science, a school established in 2019 as the first of its kind in the country. A PhD program, a master's program, and undergraduate work as well. Scott Aaronworth, the King of Virginia Beach, welcome to the show. We love when you watch the program, Scott, and you chime in and offer perspective. Thank you kindly for watching the show. The next topic I want to cover on the program is the UVA transfer portal. UVA is returning its top 5 scorers from last year. UVA has lost 2 players to transfer, 2 players of note, 3 players really. McCorkle pieced out of UVA. The European big man has transferred out of UVA. He went to Charlotte. McCorkle went to Wofford. The local kid from Louisa via St. Anne's Belfield, Poindexter's also transferred out. When it's all said and done, the transfers that left the program, not tremendously impactful from a bottom line standpoint. Over the weekend, UVA got a big-time player in the transfer portal, Ben Vanderplas. This is an Ohio University forward, a 6'8" big man who's versatile, that can play in the perimeter, can play in the paint, is a good passer, is a proven producer. For Ohio, in the Bobcats, he averaged 14.3 points a game, 6.8 rebounds a game, 3.1 assists per game. He shot 46% from downtown. Three-point shooting is something we struggled with. 36% from downtown. That's something we've struggled with. He could come in and offer a downtown stroke. He earned all MAC first team honors this past year. He's 230 pounds. He's 6'8". He's going to play in the front court. He's going to get minutes. He can play multiple positions. The team is really deep. Tony Bennett legitimately can potentially go 10 players deep this season. Let's talk about the depth chart. At point guard, you got Beekman or Kie Clark, Reese Beekman or Kie Clark. You got Isaac McNeely. Shooting guard, Leon Bond as a backup. Small forward, Armand Franklin, Tane Murray, Ryan Dunn. Power forward is loaded. Jaden Gardner. Along with Jaden Gardner, Bennett Vanderplas, who I just highlighted from Ohio. I mean, you are too deep at every position. Center, Shedrick, and Cafaro. Tony Bennett this coming season is going to have a 10-man roster of legitimate players. This past year, what did Bennett play? 6 or 7? The transfer portal's been good to UVA. Add one of the top recruiting classes in the nation, and you got a team that's going to have top 25 expectations in ACC championship caliber roster. UNC, as I highlighted to start the program, returns the most talent of any college basketball program in the country. North Carolina guard Caleb Love announced on Sunday he's returning to Chapel Hill for another year. Carolina is going to have Armando Baycock in the mix, RJ Davis in the mix, and Leaky Black in the mix. They've only had one key player, and Brady Manick, leaving this team that went to the NCAA championship. UNC, the favorite to win the ACC championship. UVA and Tony Bennett's bunch, probably in the 2 slot in preseason polls within the ACC. So we've had a couple of down years, and down years are put in perspective. If the down years for UVA basketball are the last 2 we've had, I will take them because we were in the mix and in the hunt. But the last 2 years are going to be very different from the year that's coming this season. When you got 10 guys on the roster and you're returning your top 5 scorers, and then you add an all-MAC performer from Ohio, and then you include one of the best recruiting classes that year of the entire country, expectations are going to be through the roof. And I want to highlight this. Look at what's happening in Charlottesville and in Central Virginia. You got Apex Plaza opening right next to ACAC. Hundreds of people working in this building. Building is now open. You got the basketball team primed for an ACC championship run. Tony Elliott and the football team look like they could be pretty darn good this season as well. You got a designated outdoor refreshment area that's in as positive as a position as I've ever seen since I've started campaigning and championing for the Dora. You got the data science school offering a PhD program. Look at all the positive momentum that's happening around Charlottesville, Albemarle County, and Central Virginia. The tallest East Coast timber building is now open, and it's home to hundreds of workers. Data science school, getting ready for a grand opening. Ivy Road, now a PhD program. Tony Bennett's team looks like it can contend for an ACC championship. The football team has got incredible positive momentum in life with the football coach from Clemson and Tony Elliott leading that roster. I know we're all concerned about a Ukraine-Russian war, about interest rates rising. I know we are all concerned about inflation and labor shortages and supply chain issues. But consider ourselves lucky. Consider ourselves lucky to have a market like this where you got, good gosh, think about the Virginia Athletic Department. How many of the sports teams in the Virginia Athletic Department are championship caliber? A massive majority of the department is championship caliber athletic teams. All these championship caliber athletic teams bring in hundreds, if not thousands, if not tens of thousands of people to Charlottesville on game day. Football's getting up to speed. Basketball, after a 2-year hiccup, is primed for an ACC championship run. All these buildings that were started before COVID had really bad timing with the starts. Constructing office building during a pandemic, that's tough and bad luck. But Apex Plaza's open The Code building, the old ice park, is open. 323 is open across from Friendship Court. Data Science School about to open, just announced the PhD program. We're fortunate. In the grand scheme of things, we're fortunate to live here. David Varell. Love you, David Varell. Outer Banks' finest. And Kevin Yancey of Waynesboro, he's watching, makes a good point. You got to hit the lottery, he says, to be able to live here. That's not going to get any better. The cost of living, unfortunately. All these buildings that just opened, the school that's about to open, and when the football and basketball teams are darn good, and you got more fans than ever coming to your city to get a feel for it, they're going to be seduced and romanticized by the city, and their long weekend experiences, positive, will encourage them and influence them to move here for permanent residence. It's not going to get any better, the cost of living. This will get more expensive. Patty Zeller asked this question. She owns Animal Connection. Animal Connection is hiring. X Park. Animal Connection is hiring. X Park. She is dynamite. It's a phenomenal place to work. She says, can you please ask your viewers who are considering looking for jobs or making a switch to a new profession, what are employers not offering that they'd like to receive as a benefit? I am hearing from our client roster. There's multiple businesses we run out of here. For those that watch the show regularly, you guys know this. There's the network called the I Love Cville Network, which we're most known for. This content producing network that reaches 253,000 unique IP addresses plus in Central Virginia. Through this network, we've reached over 4 million IP addresses in the Commonwealth and even more outside the state of Virginia. The other business is VMV Brands. It's an advertising agency where we manage the brands of our clients. Social media, photography, videography, website design and development, copywriting, print mail, direct mail, contract negotiation, you name it. Our advertising agency, VMV Brands, we're fortunate to work with, as of this morning, 103 clients, many of them in the Commonwealth, a large portion of them in Central Virginia or in Richmond. And the common denominator of our clients is hiring difficulties. It is so competitive out there that you're seeing businesses in the same space of commerce, the same field of business, cherry-picking talent away from their competitors, going into locations and cherry-picking talent away. The ones that are winning, that we're seeing in the hiring game, are the ones that are offering talent sign-on bonuses on day one, and then sign-on bonuses after 120 days or 180 days of working for the company. So a bonus on day one, and then when you hit the 4-month period or you hit the 6-month period, you get an additional bonus. The ones that are attracting the talent are offering less weekend work. The ones that are winning the talent are offering the opportunity to work remotely. There are not many that are winning. And there are not many small businesses in the era of inflation and increased cost of goods, increased COGS, that have bonus money at their disposal. And when it comes down to it, the locally owned business is going to have a difficult time not having their team members in one location, because the digital infrastructures for managing team members are not as robust on Main Street as they are on Wall Street. Mom and pops don't have the digital infrastructures for employee management like Fortune 100, Fortune 200, Fortune 500 companies do. I've been left scratching my head. Where are the people working? If we have vacancies, what are the people doing? There's no more stimulus money. There's no more stimulus money. Did everyone just become a self-employed entrepreneur because of the pandemic? Are folks making that much bank selling crafts on Etsy? Have you sold stuff on Etsy? No? Have you sold any of the wood making stuff you've done? Minimal?
I mostly made stuff for friends and family, so I haven't really sold much.
Yeah. What are the folks doing?
What do you mean?
You see with our clients, the common denominator across the spaces of business is hiring. We talk about this every week, right, with our clients? Where are the people working? Are they not working? How are so many different places of business? I mean, every restaurant, not every restaurant, I don't want to be hyperbole. A lot of restaurants in Charlottesville have "we're hiring" signs in their window. Where are the people that had these jobs working now? What are they doing?
I'm sure a lot of them are trying something new or just, combining their resources with other people. I mean, think about it. You spent like a year and a half not being able to go into work. Of course, it wasn't quite that long for most people, but still, I think it gave people a chance to take a long look at what they'd been doing and how unhappy they are. And then you pile onto that the fact that rent prices are massively going up. And what is someone supposed to do? I mean, like, if you were...
But this is nationally.
Yeah. And nationally, the same thing is happening.
So
people are like, I had a shitty job, and now I'm supposed to go back to it, except now I'm 6 or 12 months further in debt than I was before this BS started, and now you want me to go back to the same shitty job that wasn't paying my bills before, and you think I'm just going to go back and continue to not pay my bills because I'm not getting paid enough? They're giving up. We've gone over this. A lot of people are just piecing out.
Where are they going? Where are they piecing out?
I got family with a basement. I've got friends with an extra room. I mean,
so you have grown people, middle age, that are choosing, instead of working or climbing out of the hole, to live in their parents' basement or to couch surf.
What do you think?
I don't understand the mindset.
Of course you don't.
I don't understand the mindset. I've always come from the mindset of, I started something from scratch out of nothing with my life savings.
Right.
And made it work. So I've had literally my back against the wall for a decade plus. Taking the largest risk to buy the building we're in now. Risk that if things hadn't gone the right way over years ago, everything would have been lost.
You'd have gone and gotten a regular job.
They were strategic risks and smart risks that I bet on myself. I don't understand the mindset of giving up. And I'm really trying to be empathetic about it. But
most of these people didn't have a $25,000, $30,000, $35,000 savings account that they could pull from and do something with. Most of them were already struggling before COVID hit. And then when you get told you can't come to work for a few months, what are you supposed to do? and you say, oh well, they got PPP money or whatever, and they got deferment for their rent or their mortgage or whatever. But deferment doesn't mean you stop owing, and the money that was given by the government was peanuts compared to what people owed for rent and food and all the other things that they had to pay for while this was going on. And like I said, you get to the end of it all and you're like, wait a minute, I didn't like my job before, and now I'm further in debt than I ever was before. There's no way I can dig out of it in this job.
So they're just giving up.
What are you supposed to do?
Giving up is never the answer. Quitting and doing nothing and moving in with your parents.
You don't know that they're doing nothing. I'm just saying they're tired of the shit jobs that they were working before.
We don't need to use profanities.
Okay.
That's the third one. Let's not. We're better than that.
Okay.
What's going to happen is the divide between the haves and have-nots is going to get even worse.
You're acting like it's going to happen because of their actions, when in reality, or at least from their perspective of reality, it's happening whatever they do. It doesn't matter what they do. That divide is growing, and it's not going to be bridged anytime soon, and certainly not by them going back to a...
Doing nothing is not going to bridge the gap.
They may not be doing... They're certainly not doing nothing.
Working multiple jobs. Here's Carol Thorpe's question. The question is, how are they paying their bills now? They still have to eat and feed their kids. That's what I want to know. How are they paying their bills?
Maybe they're finding other jobs. Maybe they're putting stuff on Etsy. Maybe they're, I don't know, some of you out there may have seen these, like, articles on Google where it's like the 10 best jobs for someone that doesn't want to go into work. I don't know what the headline is, but it's stuff like, it's little things where you can go and make money on, this website or that website. I bet you people are trying some of that stuff out.
Amanda Burns says this. Amanda Burns, watching the program, the medical field is truly crippled by the inability to hire, local and small. Town doctors cannot sustain the vacancies they have on their staffs. I mean, you got... How many clients, we don't have to say them by name. I mean, Patty Zeller is one of our clients we know. She's watching the program now, and she's indicated she's hiring. How many, we've got 103, we'll call it 100. I would bet 70% plus of that 103 are looking for staff and team members. We're running boosted post campaigns to attract job applications. Eventually, folks that are choosing not to climb out of the hole will have a tough awakening.
I think they've already had it.
I think it's still yet to come.
No, I think they had the awakening.
I don't think the awakening is truly awakening until bankruptcy filings are done. I think
some of them may have already done that.
I think the true awakening is going to be when a lot of these vehicle loans become underwater, like we've talked about. I think that's going to be the true awakening.
I don't think the people that were working restaurant jobs before COVID-19 who haven't gone back, I don't think they were taking out big car loans in the last 2 years.
I don't know, man. Car loans are not as difficult to get as a loan for a house.
I didn't say whether or not they were difficult to get. I don't think that somebody that was working a job that they didn't enjoy and is now trying to decide what to do.
Amanda Burns, Martha Jefferson Hospital had to decrease MRI appointments because of staffing issues. That's bananas. Kevin Yancey, don't remember who said this, but the jobs that no one wanted to do became the only jobs available during a time when no one knew exactly how COVID was going to turn out. Some people were legit terrified to go to work every day.
Yeah.
Were you ever terrified to come to work?
Me?
Yeah, neither of us were.
No, of course not. I mean, you know, I never really thought a whole lot of the
Right.
of the COVID.
We're not going to
BS.
trivialize it though. But similar. After doing a little research and looking into it. Guys, it's a common denominator across the board. You know, one of the things that I saw.
What's a common denominator?
Vacancies.
Oh yeah.
You know what I saw at Tom Tom Festival with the Dora, the designated outdoor refreshment area? Most of the people that were pouring the beers at the patio bars were the owners of the restaurant. River was pouring the beers at the Bebedero.
Well, that's never a surprise.
Ivan was pouring the beer at Zocalo.
That's a little more surprising.
CC was actively involved with the bar at Rapture.
Okay.
You had Fitzroy, its ownership actively involved with the outside. They didn't have the staff to pour the beer at the designated outdoor refreshment area. So some folks were wondering, why is it $10 a beer to walk up and down the mall? Draft beer, $10. Well, we got to factor in the labor needed to pour those beers. And often that labor was ownership.
So the restaurants on the downtown mall were charging $10 for a beer?
To walk up and down the mall. Yeah.
So so every time they stopped to get a beer, it was $10 for another beer?
If you wanted to get a beer at a restaurant and walk it up and down the mall, it's $10.
But if you sat down at the bar, it wouldn't be $10?
It was not $10.
And there was no cost to get on the downtown mall and get like a bracelet or something?
No
It was
cost
just
for that.
Every time you stopped, they would charge you. I'm surprised anybody bought beers that way.
Why? You thought the $10 is too much?
It's insane.
There's got to be a premium of the beer with the Dora versus the inside, versus the sit-down portion of the restaurant.
I don't know why.
Because it requires more staff to serve, and it's an additional value proposition offered to the customer.
I understand the additional staff part, except it sounds like you were saying that there wasn't additional staff.
The owner is still a staff. He or she still has to get paid. The owner may or not have been serving tables during the restaurant, but it was a new shift, an incremental shift that needed to be filled. And that additional shift to serve the customers was being filled by the owners a lot of times. And they should be compensated for their time.
I'm not saying they shouldn't be. $10 just sounds like a steep. I get it, but I certainly wouldn't have stuck around for $10 beers.
You would have bought a $10 beer.
There's no way I would have. That's like a six-pack.
I mean, it is the cost of a six-pack. It is the cost of a six-pack. I had no problem with the $10 beer cost. First iteration. Let's get to some comments, and then I want to get your take on Elon Musk here. Bill McKenzie, Wild Bill McKenzie. After a while, the Employment Commission will kick you off the rolls. That makes the unemployment rate go down. You may be actively seeking work, but if there is still a glitch on your report, or your report doesn't get through the internet, you are done. Then you get desperate and take a job as a school bus driver. I think there's going to be some people that are going to feel the collateral damage of their choices of staying out of the labor market even more really, really soon.
I think there's going to be some people that go looking for other parts of the country where they can actually afford to live.
Where do you think, Judah, if I'll give you this, Charlottesville area, we've highlighted you, right? You own a home. Basically 8 minutes from the downtown mall. Right? We've highlighted that you bought this house at the most advantageous time possible.
Mm-hmm.
We've highlighted that the house that you own now has significant equity because of the timing of your purchase. We've highlighted now that your mortgage rate is frozen for 30 years. Your overhead is essentially unchecked for 30 years. You're in the catbird seat. Literally the catbird seat.
I don't know what a catbird seat is.
A fantastic position. You talk about the people that are leaving the area to go for lower cost of living. Why do you think the cost of living is lower in those areas? Because the economic opportunity is less and lower.
I'm not making any claims about other areas, but we all know that Charlottesville is expensive. I'm not saying that people are going to get a better deal somewhere else, but they may find cheaper cost of living.
The only way it would work for somebody is if they're able to work remotely, Zoom, ISP work, and then go to a lower cost of living area. That's what Danville is trying to capitalize on.
And I'm sure a lot of people are looking for that kind of thing.
Danville is marketing itself as a perfect place to set up if you can work in a Zoom town capacity. Then that would work in your scenario. But someone that has, there are few jobs in the world where someone can work anywhere they want in the world and earn a paycheck from a big city market employer. There are very few jobs like that.
Yeah.
I mean, who can name the few jobs that allow that? Consulting work. There are very few people that can do that. Daniel McDougall watches the program. He says 90% of the loans that he does are virtual, or he never meets the client. Loan origination is one. But when it comes down to it, the employer is going to want the employee to come to work a certain amount of days a week. And if the employee cannot get to work and match the employer's request, the employee will lose their job. Am I reading that the right way?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Neither of us is in that situation, and I think you're...
It's just common sense.
Okay, common sense about what? What are you getting at?
That few people can work remotely and earn a paycheck.
Okay, I never said anything about working remotely.
Yeah, well, that's what we're talking about.
Not entirely. We're talking about people who are,
You mentioned people leaving for other areas for lower cost of living.
Yeah, I never said anything about working remotely.
And I correlated that they're going to leave to these other areas to work remotely. They're not going to find the same level of economic opportunity because that's why the cost of living is lower. There are not jobs there. If there's a ton of jobs, that drives cost of living up. Job opportunity drives up cost of living.
Okay. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that doesn't mean that people aren't looking for other places.
Carol Thorpe, I'm trying to think of a few fields that are saturated which might indicate where the disenchanted might have gone, but I can't think of any. Every field is short of employees. I mean, what field is, I agree with her, what field is saturated with team members, with employees? Can you think of one? I can't think of a single one. Can you?
No, nothing that I've seen around Charlottesville, certainly.
Man. What do you think of Musk buying Twitter?
I think it's great.
Me too. I think it's great. If he truly makes it a platform for freedom of speech, I think it's great.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much it'll help at this point. I think we've already trained ourselves in some pretty bad habits regarding social media, but
Censorship you're talking about.
no.
Our utilization rate.
I'm talking about people thinking that being at least somewhat anonymous on social media gives them the
Keyboard muscles.
right, or the people just being the worst kind
Yeah,
of people.
keyboard muscles. Nasty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Musk buying Twitter, guys, he makes the platform all about free speech. He keeps censorship from happening outside of the censorship associated with bullying and attacking people online, and he turns it into the true community forum of free speech and big ideas. I think it's brilliant. It would become the town square of the world, potentially. And I don't make this about politics in the least. This is not about politics. But Putin, the Russian dictator, has an account on Twitter, and former President Donald Trump had his account banned. Is anyone able to explain that to me? The Twitter board has Putin with an account active, yet banned the account of the former president, Donald Trump. That is not about Republican or Democrat. That is strictly asking a question of how that is a green light and accepted. Last topic for today, Facebook is opening a retail store. I found this fascinating. Facebook is trying to push the metaverse and its VR, virtual reality headsets. They're opening on May 9th a retail store called the Meta Store on its California campus. Is it Burlingame? California? Burlingame? I think it's Burlingame. The store is essentially very clean and looks very much like the Apple Store, except it's going to sell Meta branded products like VR headsets and other hardware associated with Meta as they make the push harder and harder into this alternate universe. I'm still very bullish Facebook. Despite the stock, I mean, every tech stock is in the crapper right now. I'm very bullish Meta and Metaverse. We should continue that topic. We could do it for a different day, for the viewers and listeners. We could do like a round table with employers and employees. Where are all these people going? All these job vacancies and the folks that are currently not working. Is it perhaps what Judah has said, and maybe Judah's right, that a large percentage, not a large percentage, a good percentage of Americans have cut their overhead so drastically that they don't have to work routine hours? Couch surfing, living in their parents' house, surfing couches from apartment to apartment or house to house with friends, living in their cars or camping outside. I mean, maybe that's what it is, that the overhead is so low that they don't need full-time jobs.
What do you mean the overhead is so low? You mean like their rent?
They don't have rent or a house payment.
Yeah, I mean, if you go live in your car, then you certainly cut your costs quite a bit.
Yeah, if you live at home with your parents and they're not charging you rent. That's the show. Anything you want to add?
No, I'm just looking at some stuff about where all the people might have gone.
About what?
And just looking up like where all the people might have gone.
Yeah, let's talk about that tomorrow. He's Judah. I'm Jerry. It's the I Love Seville show on a Monday. Thank you kindly for joining us. Take care. You really think that's what they've done?
I mean, what other